Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about inequalities. And if you remember, an inequality is very similar to an equation, except there's a few minor rules that we have to remember. So let's get started. Before we talk about solving inequalities, we are first going to talk about inequalities and their symbols. So you will notice off to the side, on the left side of your screen, you have some inequality symbols. What we're going to do is talk about the symbols, and when we talk about a symbol, I want you to drag the symbol into the box. So greater than. The greater than symbol looks like this. It's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than. Now remember, when we graph these, this is going to be an open dot because it's a weak inequality. There's no line under it. And the arrow or symbol tells us which way the arrow goes. So the graph would go like this. I already pre-graphed those for you, but you do need to drag the symbol into the box. Less than looks like this. Now, if you remember, this will also be an open circle because it's a weak inequality. And the line goes that way because the arrow is pointing this way, so it tells me, hey, you're going that way. So drag the less than symbol into the box. Greater than or equal to. If you remember, that means that the dot is filled in. Okay, those are strong inequalities. So it looks like a greater than sign, but it has an equal sign underneath as well. So greater than or equal to, well, half an equal sign, I should say. So again, that tells me that my line is going this way because the arrow is pointing that way, but it's filled in. A strong inequality. And less than or equal to, sorry, that should be not 2 like the number 2, goes this way with the line underneath it. Remember, it's a strong inequality, so it's less than and it has half an equal sign. You're going to fill in the dot, and it gets graphed this way. So again, I want you to drag the symbols, into the box. And I already drew the graphs in for you. So those are inequality signs. Now, we learned this last year, and we learned how to solve inequalities. Before we solve them, I want you to type into your box here. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the inequality sign. So that makes solving an inequality different than solving an equation. You have to flip the inequality sign. Okay? If you divide or multiply by a negative number. Let's look at a few examples here. Just like an equation, you can draw a line down the middle where there's an equal sign. So we're going to go ahead and solve this as if we were to solve an equation. So let's distribute. 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6. Plus x is greater than, we're going to do all our distributing first. 2 times 6x is 12x. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Step 1, do all your distributing. Step 2, combine like terms. 9x plus 1x is 10x. Minus 6 is greater than 12x minus 10. Now, if you remember, I want you to always get the x on the left side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract 12x first. 10x minus 12x is negative 2x. We still have minus 6 is greater than negative 10. Now we add 6, and we get negative 2x is greater than negative 4. Now remember, these are being multiplied. And to undo multiplication, we divide. So you don't want to add 2. You actually want to divide by -2 to both sides. And now this is where solving inequality becomes different than solving an equation. Because we divided by a negative, you need to flip your inequality sign. And -4 divided by -2 is a +2. So x is less than 2. Now, if I were to graph that, let's extend our page a little bit here. I'm going to draw a number line. So I have 1, 2, -1, -2. The dot goes over +2. It's open because it's not equal to, it's just less than. And the sign tells me the arrow is going this way. See? Go that way, it's saying. So that's how you solve an inequality and you graph the inequality. All right, let's look at number 1B here. All right, let's start by doing all of our distributing. So again, if you like, you can draw a line down the middle. 3x. Now -2 times 8x is -16x. -2 times -9 is +18. And that's less than or equal to 3. Now remember, there's a 1 there you don't see. So I'm going to distribute a -1. -1 times 2x is -2x. -1 times 7 is -7. Now let's combine all of our like terms. 3x minus 16x is -13x. Plus 18 is less than or equal to 3 minus 7, which is -4, minus 2x. Now again, when you solve inequalities, I always want you guys to get the x on the left side. Otherwise, it's very confusing and it's hard to figure out the answer. So I'm going to add 2x. That gives me -11x plus 18 is less than or equal to -4. Now subtract 18 to both sides, and you get -11x is less than or equal to -22. We undo things that are being multiplied with division. So divide by -11. Again, this part about solving should be pretty easy for you guys. It's just like solving the equation. It's the rules of remembering when to flip the inequality sign, which right now would be one of those situations because we divided by -11. And we get x is greater than or equal to 2. So I'm going to draw a number line here. Not a great line, but it'll work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's enough. We put a dot, and it's a closed dot because there's a line underneath, over 2. And that tells me the arrow is going that way. So that would be my graph if I asked you to graph this. All right, so the big takeaway from this, solving inequality is just like solving an equation. Just remember, when you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the inequality sign. All right, we're going to jump to the next page. If at any point you are confused, you missed something, please pause, go back, and you can, rewind, do whatever you need to do to go at your speed. All right, Regents loves to ask these types of questions. Find the smallest integer that makes the inequality below true. Well, to do that, we need to solve. Just want to work. So I'm going to draw the line down the middle because I like to draw the line down the middle, but some of you do not, and that's okay. We are always, whenever you see distributing, you're always going to start with distributing. So 5/3 times x is 5/3 x. 5/3 times 2 is 10/3. We're going to leave them as fractions because if you leave them as decimals, you will not get an accurate answer. So leave them as fractions for now. Is greater than x plus 4. So just when we solved equations with fractions, this is just like that. We're going to give these a leg to stand on. And now you want to find the LCM between 3 and 1. So let me pull up my calculator. Give me 1 second here. Okay, I apologize. I had to pause, but I pulled up my calculator. So if I want to find the LCM